So.
All right, Corey, please go ahead. Talk about Fantasy Island.
All right, so
the plane, boss. The plane.
my movie is movie I now
plane.
chose is Fantasy Island, and the funny thing is now that after I saw this poster, it just came to mind. This movie reminds me a lot of Old in weird ways. I guess because they're both on islands and stuff. But
they're on islands.
There's other like the way the characters act in both these movies are very similar. It's weird that I just kind of came to this realization now. But this movie I saw in theaters, and it was pretty terrible. That had some interesting moments, but it was not handled well. And the acting is probably one of the worst like things about the movie. Like some of the lines are just absolutely hilarious. But it's an interesting premise. It's kind of like I wouldn't say a horror movie, but like a thriller. Take Fantasy Island from the TV show from the 80s where people go there to live their
the opposite of a thriller.
Yeah, exactly. So like in the 80s, I think it was the 80s, 70s or 80s, Fantasy Island was a TV show that, you know, you would go to this island, pay money, beautiful island, and you would get to live your wildest dreams, whatever you wanted, anything. So they took that premise and turned it into like a thriller, like more, I guess, kind of horror, but not really. Not executed very well.
Is
Very
Tattoo in this?
He is, but
oh shit, they got Tattoo.
What?
well, not the actual Tattoo.
No, I think he's
but
been dead.
the character.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he died a while
Yeah,
ago, and Peter
but-
Dinklage played him. And
There is a Tattoo in this movie.
Oh,
Wait,
really?
what? Peter Dinklage played Tattoo? When?
Yeah, when did he play?
I
Tattoo?
thought he did, right? Or did I make that up?
I
No,
think you just made that up. Yeah.
They're
Where did he play him?
remaking. They're remaking Fantasy Island as a TV show, but they're like gender swapping it and things. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with that one, but I don't think he's in it.
With which one?
Fantasy Island.
Oh.
I think that comes out soon.
Two call-outs I now looking at the cast that I remember. Michael Pena was actually very good as Mr. Rourke. I think that's his name, the guy who runs the island.
He's not Ricardo Montalban.
No, but he channels
Mr. Rourke.
He channels like that suave yet uncomfortable and mysterious thing that Ricardo Montalban did in the TV show. So I liked him. And Maggie Q was in it. I don't remember who she played, but I did like her a lot. And everyone else was like B and C list actors, I think. I don't really remember anyone else.
Oh, what do we do with our budget? Oh, it's gone.
Lucy Hale. That name sounds familiar. Now that I'm looking at it.
She was in Truth or Dare. Talked about that one like a week ago.
Yeah, I think you also brought her up on today's episode too.
Me?
No, Murph.
Oh, I was gonna say. Am I losing my mind?
No, maybe I did.
I've heard that name.
She was on that Pretty Little Liars show.
Oh, that's a terrible show.
Yeah, I never seen
I know
it, but
because it's
I knew she was on it. Yeah, it was on like forever. It seemed like.
But yeah, that's Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island.
I mean, I guess if it's on streaming, which I'm sure it is, it's worth a watch. But it wasn't great.
Do they say the plane, boss? The plane.
The plane.
Do they say that?
So just to circle back on, I was right. Peter Dinklage did play him in Fantasy Island.
Wait, what
Or
Fantasy Island?
Which
Tattoo.
Fantasy Island? Like the show from the 80s?
He played Tattoo. So he played the actor who played Tattoo.
Oh, so it was like a documentary type thing.
Got it.
My dinner with
I don't
remember how to say his Hervey.
Dinner with Tattoo.
Dinner with Tattoo.
I thought you were gonna be like, all right, I just want to circle back on Spider-Man one more time.
Yeah.
Can
I've got another theory that I just wanted to talk about.
All right, yeah. So that's Fantasy Island.
Okay.
Not the Green Knight.
Do they say that the plane, boss? The plane?
I feel like
They have to say the plane.
Yeah,
plane.
they definitely say
Right?
something like that. There's a
Okay.
bunch of Easter eggs. It's a pretty trippy movie.
It sounds like whoever wrote Fantasy Island is probably turning in their fucking graves right now.
Yeah.
Since they made that movie.
Definitely.
Well, it's Doug's turn to talk about his lovely, totally probably not depressing movie
Oh God.
of 2020.
Oh.
You just watched this one
Yeah,
fairly recently, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. I mean, it was on my list of movies I was looking forward to in 2021. So I was happy to finally get to see it. As you guys know, Anthony Hopkins won the Oscar for his portrayal in this movie. It wasn't as depressing as I thought it would be. So
Wow.
the concept is Anthony Hopkins has dementia. And you're basically in Anthony Hopkins' shoes as he's dealing with the fact that he has dementia and doesn't realize that he has dementia. Um, so it was a really interesting take, and it made it. I think the way they portrayed it made it less depressing because you'd have characters that would appear and disappear, like his daughter was taking care of him in the beginning of the movie. And then like this other character comes in and is like, "I'm your daughter," but it's a completely different actress, and he's like, "No, you're not my daughter. Like, I don't know who you are." And so you're like in his shoes during the whole thing, and you're also like, "No, that's not my daughter." Like,
That's
it
frightening.
was Olivia Thompson. And so it's things like that where you're like you're in his shoes, things from his perspective, and so like you kind of feel like everyone's acting like he's crazy, but you also feel like you're the crazy. What he's saying makes sense because you're in his shoes, and so I liked it a lot because I thought that was an interesting way to do it, and it made it way less depressing than I thought it would be because I was equally as confused and uh, I felt less sad for him and more like what the fuck is going on.
That sounds
Sounds like
trippy.
Memento. Mindfuck.
Yeah, it's super trippy. It's a super cool concept because I've never seen dementia portrayed like that before. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Sound of Metal, where we're just being put in the character's shoes, where like you couldn't hear, just like the character couldn't hear certain things. Acting was all great. Anthony Hopkins kills it like always. Olivia Thompson's good. Lots of other British people that I've seen in movies that are in this movie. I don't know their names, but I thought the cast was good, and it's a quick movie. I mean, it's under an hour and a half, so it's super quick, easy watch. But I'm not saying it's not depressing at all, but it's not nearly as depressing as I thought it would be. I got far more depressed watching Sound of Metal and Nomadland than I did this movie.
Gotcha. I guess if it was from the other perspective, it would probably be a lot more sad. And all
Yeah,
that.
I think
Like,
absolutely. I think
do that is rough.
Yeah, watching somebody have dementia, I think, is a lot more sad than being the person that has dementia. Is just like, what the fuck is going on? I don't really understand
I
who you are. Like,
I can confirm the former, not the latter. I have not had dementia yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
yeah, I mean, I'm just going based on what it felt like to be with Anthony Hopkins on that journey. Yeah, it's
Yeah, sounds like a rough journey.
it's a good movie. It's worth watching if that concept doesn't depress you too much.
Well, the poster has infinite amounts of good reviews and things on it. Probably all sorts of awards and shit on
You're
it
gonna
too.
infinite amounts of Anthony Hopkins. On it.
Yeah, I mean Hopkins won Best Actor this year, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone is
and
a
I
good
think
little
he
grab.
won some other stuff too at the Oscars. I can't remember. I think screenplay might have won Best original screenplay or adapted, one of the two.
It's a really cool concept that I haven't seen before. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you were super hyped for it before it came out. I mean, as super hyped as one can be for a movie about dementia. but I definitely gotta check it out based on everything
Yeah.
that I've heard and what you've said.
Yeah, it's such a quick watch. It's not like a huge time commitment, which I like. I'm starting to like more and more these days because it's hard to find the time.
You
It's
don't
hard to
like
find 3.5
3 hour
hours to sit
movies,
down.
2.5 hour movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right. JP, did you talk about your movie yet at all? I know I talked about it.
I think you talked about it because I watched it after we talked about it here. So I
Okay.
hadn't seen it
Yeah,
when we won.
yeah. I think Murphy. I think you did talk about this.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, because I rented on VOD,
yeah,
premium
It's,
VOD.
premium VOD. I think I waited until it was freemium VOD. And that is News of the World, which is Tom Hanks and the unforgiving wilderness of Texas and a small little girl that was once Swedish or something, but raised by
something like that.
raised by natives and all this stuff. And she goes feral and she doesn't speak any recognizable languages to Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is just a guy that walks around the South and reads news to people. It's a hard job, but it's something that he enjoys doing, and it's just kind of an adventure movie. It's sort of like there's not a huge direction with the plot. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong because it's been a little while since I've seen this, but I mean, he picks up the girl and he's taking care of her as they go across Texas, and he's just trying to get her back to her family. And
Yep.
He eventually accomplishes that, but then realizes that whatever family she has left kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And
because her like direct family were murdered by the same Indians that take her after.
Yep. And then her remaining relatives are just sort of like
why do we have this feral child who doesn't speak English and we can't get her to listen?
And Tom Hanks's wife has passed away or has left him, I remember. And then he's just like, you know what I need in my life is
passed
a
away,
small,
I think.
Yeah, as a
Dude, I was
small
so glad
child.
when he turned it around. I was so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Hanks.
Did
you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Huh. I didn't know either of you had seen it.
You don't sound jazzed about it, Doug. Not for you?
It was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. I did not like it. I just would rather watch people with dementia, I guess.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's no JP's best movie of 2020 boss level. Who also had best supporting actor Mel Gibson. But it was a good one. It's one of those movies where not a whole lot of anything happens, and I'm all about that. I was on the journey, and it was in Texas, and I just wanted to sit in that cart with Tom Hanks and sit around and listen to him read the news. It was a nice, relaxing movie, but yeah, it's not anything super over the top with action or anything like that. It's just
it's got some people that are trying to are they trying to steal the kid for
probably for horrible
trafficking or something like that. That was a cool action scene because he's so outnumbered and he doesn't have serious guns in comparison to what they have. That scene. Paul Greengrass can still do some great action scenes with little stuff, not much. But I like that return with the two of them since they did work together on Captain Phillips. Thought it was a nice follow up.
Yeah, I hadn't seen Captain Phillips, but they do well together. She plays a really good feral child.
Yeah, she was really good. She speaks 3 different languages in that movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Is she German, actually?
I think she's probably German, yeah. Or Czech or something like that. A lot of Czech in Texas.
Yeah.
So maybe that. But yeah, she's something. It's neat. It's a cool idea because I'm sure that happened all the time.
And I found it interesting how he was a former Confederate soldier and has to give all this news, his post-Civil War, and he's giving all this news about how things are now, and everyone they don't want to listen to it or
pissed,
super pissed about it because they just lost the war. Probably their friends died during it. So I thought it was really interesting how he would have to like calm people down and shit like that.
Yeah, it's a cool little thing. It's not something I ever knew that people did back in the day, but it makes perfect sense.
Neither did I.
It's a traveling news anchor.
I mean, it's crazy to think how slow news would have traveled back then.
Yeah, especially if you couldn't read, because I guess if you can get the newspaper, then that's one thing, but most of them couldn't.
Dude, you could trick people like so easily if people couldn't read back then.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that Tom Hanks is an upstanding gentleman.
Exactly.
In this
and
movie.
if you're gonna want to get news from someone, you're gonna want it to be Tom Hanks.
Yeah, yeah. I think we talked about this. Tom Hanks playing a Texan, completely unbelievable because he's just like straight up like California guy or whatever.
Yeah, like a beach boy.
Yeah, but still, he does a good job. He does a good Tom Hanks job. Not his best, not his worst.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Just Tom Hanks.
If you like meandering adventure movies about the Wild West, it's a good one to watch. But
cool.
It's no Boss Level.
All right, and then I picked Unpregnant. I'm not sure if I talked about this one at all when I watched it, like later last year. It was an HBO Max movie. Strictly, it's kind of like we talk about how they don't do too many comedies, but there's been 2 comedies with similar premises that have been like pretty funny over the past year. Unpregnant and Plan B this year. Similar topics, and both have like a Harold and Kumar like type of like road trip vibe to them, where like the characters are under 21 or under 18 or whatever, and they can't get the things that they need. In Unpregnant, it's an abortion, and in Plan B, it's the pill. But this one in particular, it's about a girl from Missouri to get an abortion because they won't allow her to get one without parental consent in Missouri. And her former like best friend, who is like the wild card type character, happens to find out about it, and she ends up being and they get into a bunch of zany like hijinks and shit like that. Like who do we got? Breckenmeyer is like a super religious guy in it who basically like kidnaps them. It's pretty funny. And Giancarlo Esposito, who probably is only in it because he was around for Better Call Saul. He was in it, and he plays this absolutely like wackadoo character who ends up assisting them on their journey.
He's not like a cold as steel bad guy.
No, I mean he's got a rough exterior, but it's like in a complete, and like by the end they're like buddies. It's really weird. But yeah, it's a good, maybe I think it's PG-13, but unlike the other one, which is like a very hard, or like a super bad type one, but made me laugh like a lot, and it's got some good emotional beats to it. So it's a short one, like Doug said, he like looks for movies that aren't too long. Like this is like a solid 100-minute movie, and yeah, gets the job done during that time frame. So I didn't mention it before. I don't think I did. So figured I'd mention it now. Versus all the, it was tough to like find a movie to talk about because I'm like, I'm pretty sure we talked about like,
yeah.
And this was one that I gave a good amount of stars on my box. I'm like, all right, I'll talk about this one.
Yeah, it would have been easy to talk about like a Palm Springs or something like that, like we've seen, but
exactly, and which is going to be on. I know it's on. Kate submitted them, and Kate, sure. Unpregnant, you probably like this one. I think you'd find, based on some of the other ones that are on your list, or both in past years and 2020. All right, so yeah, that's it for myself. We can get on to the extra picks. Doug, do you need to jump off?
Yeah, I'm gonna bow out.
All right, we'll see you in 2021, brother.
See you in 2021.
Bye, Doug.
Bye, guys.
Which will be in 2022. Cool. So let's jump through the extra picks right now. Is Love Guaranteed? That's one movie, right?
Yes.
Or is that two?
It's hard because she has a lot of movies that have comments in them.
I've noticed that. Last week there were 2, one with multiple comments. Shit, how do I type this?
She does it to fuck with us.
Maybe I should put like parentheses or something.
I might do dashes next time we do it, which is never.
Yeah.
So
Or I should maybe bolding the title names wouldn't work because they're all next to each other. Neither would italicizing them. So I guess throwing them all in quotes would probably be the way to go.
yeah.
All right. Well, you want to start with Love Guaranteed or?
No, this is not one that you know. Okay.
No.
We got Rachel Lee Cook and Damon Wayans Jr. And it's
I heard of this one. It was I think it was a Netflix movie.
Yeah, it looks like a Netflix movie. After 1,000 first dates, he's still single. So the lawyer he hires to sue his dating app. No, so is the lawyer he hired. I fucked that one up. Fuck 2020. So is the lawyer he hires to sue his dating app. All evidence points to romance. That's so fucking cheesy. It's got 56 tomatoes.
That's
better
actually
than
pretty
I would
high.
expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a
you
pretty
said Damon.
typical
Did you say Damon Wayans Jr.?
Damon Wayans Jr.
All right. Well, he's funny, so he probably elevated the material.
Heather Graham's in this too.
Damn, Heather Graham and Rachel Lee Cook. That is going back to 1999.
Yeah. Rachel Lee Cook looks much better than Heather Graham does today.
Makes sense. She kind of like stepped out of the movie game for a while. It seemed like, and she was also younger than Heather Graham was when we were seeing her and stuff in the 90s.
I think she did a shit ton of voiceover work, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong.
That could be right. All right.
Yeah, she did like Josie and the Pussycats, and then just disappeared.
Yep.
Good for her.
What about is it Fatale or Fatal? I guess it's Fatal.
Looks like Fatale.
I think it's Fatale.
It does look like Fatale, but I don't.
Fatale.
I don't think that would.
Fatale.
If it was Femme Fatale, it'd be an easy that makes sense.
Well, it's got Hilary Swank in it.
Swank dog.
And Michael Ealy. After a wild one-night stand, way to go, Hilary Swank. A successful sports agent watches his perfect life slowly disappear when he discovers the sexy and mysterious woman he risked everything for.
Hilary Swank?
I think so. She's a determined police detective who entangles him in her latest investigation. As he desperately tries to put the pieces together, he falls deeper into her trap, risking his family, his career, and even his life.
Ooh.
45 tomatoes.
All right. Holidate. I believe this one was Emma Roberts.
Let's find out.
And it was a Netflix movie, like towards the beginning of 2020.
Or
I guess it would be the end of 2020 if it was a holiday movie.
This is an October 28th, like a Halloween release of a Emma Roberts movie.
They threw it out like a week after Hubie Halloween.
Yep. It's fed up with being single on the holidays. Two strangers agree to be each other's platonic plus ones all year long, only to catch real feelings along the way.
I saw the trailer for a lot on Netflix when I was just watching Netflix all the time.
45 tomatoes.
All right.
We're going down.
Well, we're going to be going up for the next couple. Palm Springs.
Good movie.
We all love this one. Sandberg and Kristen Milioti, along with J.K. Simmons. Time limit movie. A lot of fun. All four of us watched it, recommend it, along with Kate. So check this one out. It's on Hulu.
It's a good movie.
Another one that was on Hulu, Happiest Season. This was a fun, goofy holiday movie with Mackenzie Davis, Kristen Stewart, Alison Brie, Aubrey Plaza, Mary Steenburgen, Victor Garber, a lot of people, Dan Levy. I believe I talked about this one in November. It's also on Hulu, so if you got that, watch it for the holidays this year. All right, Rebecca. I watched this one, a remake of a Hitchcock movie with Lily James and Army the Cannibal Hammer. It was all right. I remember it being pretty slow. I've never seen the original. I probably fucked up and should have just watched that one. But Lily James is nice to look at. Army Hammer,
nice,
handsome dude as well. So
Yeah, it's a win-win right there.
and it takes place in Europe, so there's a lot of nice scenery. A lot of nice things to look at in this film.
Yeah, it's a pretty movie.
Throw it on in the background. Don't pay attention to the plot and take a look.
Just take a look every
You'll
so
find
often.
you'll find something you'll enjoy. Everyone will.
Except for the amount of tomatoes.
Unless if you don't like
39.
Yeah, no.
Unless if you don't like Little James, Army, the Cannibal Hammer, or Europe.
If you're not into pretty things, you're
really not gonna. Don't throw it on the background. There's something else on. All right, The Rental.
That's the one that Corey was going to talk about.
This movie. I think this was directed.
I'd go and bring the poster up for it.
Is this a Dave Franco movie?
Yeah, it's either directed by Dave Franco and written or just written. Yeah, it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. These crazy college kids rent an Airbnb, and it ends up being, run by like a real big creeper / sociopath that you don't see his face most of the movie. He just like watches you. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Isn't it like Doug's bachelor party? Didn't you guys find cameras in your thing and the guy was sleeping outside in an RV?
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, we always end up going to places where there's people sleeping and like something. Didn't that happen in our prom house where someone was in the garage? Or am I crazy imagining that?
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, lots of people are always hiding.
Hey, we got someone from Brazil in the chat, I believe. What's up, Brazil? How you doing?
Welcome,
How's it going?
Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Happy to have you. We're just talking about movies from 2020 right now.
By all means, throw some that you enjoyed.
Yeah.
The next up, or the one that we've got next up, is Uncle Frank. This was a Prime Video one. Really good performance by Paul Bettany. He plays a gay dude back in the 70s. And Sophia Lillis from It, the young redhead, is like her niece, and goes on like a road trip after her dad, played by Milton, or his dad, played by Milton in Office Space. That's his name, right? Stephen Root. Yeah, after Stephen Root dies, they go on like a back to like the whole family and a bunch of drama, but it's a killer performance by Paul Bettany. Between that, WandaVision, he had like an amazing 1-2 punch at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021.
Just flexing his acting chops.
Yeah, dude's great at drama and comedy.
Yeah,
interesting, like how he's had like a fairly big revival over the past few years. I mean, it really has all to do with MCU, but
yeah.
Next up is Enola Holmes. We've talked about this one. It's on Netflix.
Solid movie.
So it was a fun one. I enjoyed it more than the Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I have to agree for the most part. Yeah.
Movie. I didn't see the second one, but it's Millie Bobby Brown. She plays Sherlock Holmes' sister. Enola Holmes. Henry Cavill plays Sherlock, and then one of the dude from the Hunger Games plays Mycroft Holmes.
The guy plays Finnick, right?
Yeah.
The actor plays Finnick.
Yep.
I forgot his name.
Helena Bonham Carter's their mom. Just a fun mystery movie. Gets a little dark at certain points for like a kids movie, which is cool. It's like a throwback to like movies from the 90s that kind of had balls for kids movies. But I'd say it's worth a watch. They're making a sequel to it, so you got that to look forward to. And then finally, Kate's last pick was Hamilton on Disney Plus. We talked about it a bunch in 2020. Straight adaptation of the Broadway play, just with some camera work that you would to see on Broadway, like over the top shots and stuff like that. But ultimately, it was a really strong adaptation. You get the whole original cast. So if you don't want to shell out a fucking fortune to see it on Broadway, just check it out on Disney Plus.
Oh, is it expensive to see in real life?
I believe it costs an arm and a leg.
Yeah, it's insane.
But I mean, if you're rich,
I have two of
fuck it.
those. I have two of
That's
each
true.
of those. That's pretty
So
amazing.
spare what you can.
Spare
and
one of each.
Get a ticket.
Be good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
it
I'll
might
do
cost
that.
even more than that. You might have to donate some.
Some
But-
blood. I make blood all the time. That's crazy.
The one thing about this that I was really surprised with was how well they made you feel like you were at a Broadway show. Like they really provided you with that experience, probably the best that they could. I've never watched a Broadway show like that before.
Yeah.
Where it was just, it made you feel like you were there. It was done well.
Yeah, without a doubt. Great soundtrack. 3 out of 4 of us recommend it. So take that as you will.
And
Well,
one of them doesn't.
2 of the 3 that are here right now recommend.
Yeah, one of them doesn't watch music.
One of them is not a musical.
Unless it's like good old school Disney.
Yeah, that or South Park or like a comedic one.
Not CGI humanoid animals.
Not cats with no buttholes.
No cats with buttholes, thank you.
Cats with all the buttholes.
That's the version that will get JP to watch it.
You could probably find that version somewhere in New York City.
It'll leak eventually. Oh yeah, that's true. We just go to New York and
it's just called the Cats Director's Cut.
Yeah.
The butthole cut. Release the butthole cut.
Really, hashtag. Yeah, there you go.
boom, you got it. All right, though. That's it then.
No, Dirk's got
2020.
some. Dirk jumped in at the last moment. Got some
last
in.
minute. We got some last minute picks. All right, what do we got here? We've got
Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys for Life, the number one movie of 2020 and 2021 domestic.
Hell.
What a romper this one
in
is.
North America so far.
This movie was so good.
Yeah, I mean, it was Will Smith at the top of the box office.
Corey said Will Smith was done. Said his career as a box office leading man just in the ground. And he said, "You know what, Corey? Watch me do it again. Watch me do it again, Corey."
For 2 whole years.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see which one actually. Probably not going to be maybe Bond, maybe. Otherwise, we might be waiting until November or December with Spider-Man
or Matrix.
Yeah, but yeah, Bad Boys for Life is a fun one. Wasn't as ridiculous as Bad Boys 2, but it was definitely more fun than Bad Boys. Martin Lawrence was surprisingly strong. I haven't seen him in anything in a long time.
Joey Pants.
Yeah, Joey Pants.
Dude.
Returned as well, was a blast. Yeah, I mean, it had most of the cast of Bad Boys 2, with the exception of Gabrielle Union. And then it brought in some new characters. Vanessa, who actually, it was amusing, their chemistry with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. A lot of the whole, like, oh, these fucking dumb kids. Like, let's show them how it's really done. That kind of stuff. While they're all techie and bring their own expertise to things.
I loved how they got Reggie to come back.
Oh yeah, that was a blast. Yeah.
Oh, Reggie's back.
Yeah, they brought back like pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
What
Same
about
actor.
Reyes? Are they down for anything?
I don't think they were actually. Wait, I don't remember.
Actually, well, maybe.
I guess they probably weren't. Michael Bay came back in a cameo appearance.
Yeah, that was a
since
good
he
one
didn't
too.
direct it. But it was cool that he was in it. Yeah, it was just a fun R-rated buddy cop movie, which we don't get enough of them anymore either.
I haven't seen it. I need to take a look.
Yeah, you probably enjoy it.
I do like Bad Boys too.
And then we've got Invisible Man.
Great flick. Another.
Yeah, good horror movie. They did that whole concept well.
Do they do it as well as Kevin Bacon?
They do it better than Hollow Man,
way
absolutely.
Better. And this one snuck in right before the world shut down.
The Pandooza.
Yeah, it came out like maybe a month before.
Yeah, so I remember seeing this in theaters with you.
Yeah. Yeah, a solid Blumhouse movie. Like fairly low budget, so like they're not doing real invisible like they're not going with experiments like they did with Kevin Bacon. to become invisible. Like they're using certain form of like body
cameras,
like armor that makes them look like,
really?
like they're
yeah,
not
it's
being
done
seen.
with optics, with cameras.
So like it's very much like a real world like type.
So it's not a spooky ghost thing.
Not a spooky ghost.
Yeah,
It is
not a ghoul. No ghouls.
Oh, we have no ghouls. Okay.
No ghouls in 2020.
No, we haven't had a single
Invisible
ghoul
Man.
in 2020. That's fucked.
So yeah, they do it in a nice, like, cool way. But it's a fucked up movie. Elizabeth Moss kills it. I know Doug said I believe he said he wasn't down with Invisible Man because he was tired of seeing Elizabeth Moss suffering.
I thought he was tired of seeing Elizabeth Moss.
I'm tired of Elizabeth Moss getting.
No, he's like, after like a few seasons of Handmaid,
yeah,
suffer anymore. Because she goes through the ringer in this one. But yeah, it was a highlight of 2020 and worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she enjoys suffering?
I think she enjoys acting big acting performances.
I love acting like I'm being abused.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it then. That's 2020.
Very excited to talk about The Green Knight for 2021.
Okay, that's.
Did we say hi from Brazil, please?
We did. We said hi to Brazil.
Oh, this was an older one. Got it.
Didn't say hi back, but that's all good.
No worries.
We got a new follower 32 minutes ago, Haas.
Cool.
Thank you, Haas.
I don't know if Haas is still here. We're
Dig the name.
On a tangent there, talking about 2020 movies, but that's what we do.
Yeah, it's part of our yearly film series. We went through every year since 1980.
It's a great time to join. We're not doing it again.
Yeah, I think we started at the beginning of last summer, summer 2020. But yeah, we will talk about 2021 in January. We'll make our picks for the year, which should be better than 2020 picks.
Actually seeing movies.
Yeah, exactly. Movies in theaters too. And then whatever you guys send in, we'll talk about them as well.
Hell yeah.
Maybe we won't even make that one a bonus feature. That a feature presentation of the main program. I don't know.
That could be good.
We'll figure it out before then. But we'll also have to do our best of the year. So maybe we will just keep this as a bonus. I don't know. We got a few more months to figure it out.
Keep watching, figure out what we do, It's called I don't know what it's called. It's called Keep Watching, figure out what we're gonna do.
There you go. All right then. Corey, sign us off.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye.